On behalf of the entire YouTube API team, I just want to welcome you guys to Powered by YouTube. This is our first ever API developer event here at the YouTube office. My name is Christine Tsai. I'm part of the YouTube APIs team, and I'm your resident housekeeper for the day. We launched the APIs back in March, and since then, we thought it would be really great that the community is one of the biggest features on YouTube.com that we think really makes YouTube special. And we thought, hey, we could bring that same community to developers and really get the word out about our APIs, educate developers on what exactly you can do with the APIs, and bringing YouTube to your users. So this event is kind of like our first step in really spreading the word. So before we get started with Hunter, I wanted to give a quick shout out to our office hours staff. Office hours is the area you saw in the lobby with the signs. These are our friendly TAs. They're all members of the developer ops or engineering team. I'm going to let Stephanie Liu give you a very quick spiel on what office hours is all about. So.
Hey guys, so if you look at the back of your badge, you'll see we have a pretty packed agenda today, but if at any point you want to wander out or get your hands on some of the stuff that you're hearing about, we'll be outside. We're all engineers that work with outside developers or some core engineers as well. My name is Stephanie, and we have Johan, Jeff, Ryan, Jeff, Max, and John will also be around. And anybody you see in one of these shirts will probably, you can approach, but we'll be the ones outside. But yeah, if you want to, we have some one-sheeters, we have some, sample code, get you guys started. You can ask us questions. We can probably do some demos for you, things like that. So at any point, come outside. We're pretty friendly.
Great, thanks guys. And with that, I will hand it off to Hunter Walk.
Yay, that's right, clap. So thanks, Christine. So there's my way too big picture. Let's get rid of that. There. So as Christine noted, this is the first developer day, so appreciate it, because what YouTube really is, and I lead product management here, what YouTube really is, it's a platform for people. And so I think what we've always believed from day one is that it's not about trying to pick what content is going to be successful, or trying to sway the community move in a certain way. It's just providing a platform where people can upload, share, and create. And extending that offsite, I think, is really part of our DNA. And so what started with the embedded player, sort of the ability to kind of grab a YouTube video and put it anywhere you want, has now evolved into the APIs that you see in front of you. And I hope for folks who aren't as familiar with the APIs that they have the chance today to learn a little bit more. For folks that have been using them, I'm sure you won't be shy about finding people in gray t-shirts and telling them exactly what you want to see from the next version. So I'm just going to spend a few minutes talking a little bit about what YouTube has to offer to you guys, and then a few tips and trends that I've sort of seen in our API development, and then we can get into sort of some of the meat of the technical discussion. So the first thing that I believe YouTube has is of this incredible corpus, right? So in fewer than 3 years, it's the most diverse, the broadest, the deepest collection of video that you've ever seen. In fact, we now get more than 13 hours of new video every minute. So that's an incredible amount. It's about 20,000 hours a day. I was doing sort of like back of the napkin math, trying to compare the productivity of the YouTube user base to traditional media. And so that's the equivalent of if Hollywood was releasing 57,000 new full-length films into theaters each week. And just like Hollywood, some of those YouTube videos become quite popular. Others are more sort of your niche independent. And some are just plain weird, and God only knows why they exist. But we celebrate them. We celebrate them all. And what does that mean? It means that no matter whether you're creating an application that's focused on a very specific idea, or just trying to broadly appeal to the internet community, we have a corpus for you to program from. So I was checking out, we have over 200,000 Madonna videos, quite exciting. In fact, when she released her new album, some of these celebrities now are starting to film things exclusively for YouTube to try to sort of reach out and talk to the YouTube community. And I guess she was on the set of that video with Justin Timberlake, and she was vacuuming and sort of like, oh, hey, YouTube, you caught me off guard type of thing. And then she was like, I want you guys to keep uploading, videos, singing my song and Madonna videos and stuff. And we all kind of looked and like, she just didn't tell everybody to start like, ripping and uploading Madonna videos, did we? Like, somebody let her record label know. But it turns out that they were all really cool about that. And I think what we're seeing is sort of an evolution where folks are getting more and more comfortable with different ideas of relationships between creators and fans. And so that's really exciting for us and allows us to continue sort of enabling bringing people closer together. So 200,000 Madonna videos in case you want to create a Madonna fan site. But maybe you have a very particular interest, such as the sport of wife carrying. And if that's the case, I'm not here to judge you. That's cool. Totally, do your thing. Apparently, there's a few hundred other people who are really into that too. Thus, don't worry about going out and trying to commission or find or sort of scare up video to create that dream site or that dream application. Just start borrowing it from YouTube. But what's interesting is there's some things as niche and interesting as wife carrying might be, there's some things where I'm sad to say YouTube still doesn't have enough video for you guys. Finger stashes. So if you don't know the finger stash, the story of the finger stash is there's literally this guy who got a tattoo of a little mustache on his index finger so that I guess at right the opportune moment when he's talking to you, he can kind of go like this and sort of. And as compelling as that is, for some reason we only have 6 finger stash videos. So either we have a bunch of finger stash videos and they're just not properly labeled, or that quite hasn't caught on in the YouTube community yet. So I'm sure within, before the day is up, somebody out there will have created a finger stash YouTube app. And by the time I check this later today, maybe we'll have 60 or 600. So besides an incredible corpus of video for you guys to draw from, we have a community. We have a community that you can both deliver content into, but that you can also use to make aware of what you're doing. So YouTube's community, if it was a country, would actually be the 3rd largest country in the world. We would probably have a very strange looking flag, but I think what's just incredible is maybe even more so than any other internet property, I think we have the chance to make the entire internet into YouTube's user base. Why? I think exactly what we were talking about before, sort of the breadth of what goes on here, but also the reach. The fact that in order to encounter YouTube content, you don't have to come to youtube.com. In fact, each month, videos are viewed on more than 10 million websites, blogs, social network profiles. And that's in large part to a lot of the amazing work that folks like yourself are doing. How to take the YouTube experience and bring it outside of youtube.com. A little bit later today, Brian Glick will talk a little bit about how the youtube.com experience is evolving. But I think what we've really seen is that the YouTube experience evolves not just because of what we do, but because of what you guys do. And I think one of the biggest changes in the last few quarters as I look back and sort of think about where we were last year and where we're going is that experience is not just web-based anymore. So I don't know how many folks in this room are application developers or have been working with various maybe hardware or other solutions, but increasingly the YouTube experience is not limited to the PC. So the general promise of YouTube is that for the first time, the user is at the center of their media experience, and that media experience tends to be a blend of mass media, right? So music videos, other things that are generally popular, niche media, and personal media, things that are just being shared by family and friends. And so whether you're looking at the mobile devices or increasingly the living room, whether it's capture and things like the flip video camera or delivery streaming through set-top boxes, increasingly YouTube is out there. And we really want to figure out how to continue to help you guys take advantage of that footprint, because especially what we're seeing from consumers is that sort of a powered by YouTube, a YouTube enabled is a real great driver for demand and adoption of new devices. It's a use case people understand. Oh, why do I need a new camera or why do I need a new phone? Because I can upload easily to YouTube. Sounds great. So before I let you guys go and get into a little bit more of the technical discussion, I want to talk a little bit about 3 API trends and hopefully how you guys can take advantage of this to create even more and more successful applications. The first is redefining exactly what is video and what can be uploaded to YouTube. So a few years back, YouTube, I think one of the reasons they succeeded was easiest way to get a video file off your hard drive and onto the web. But to some extent, sort of that basic feature, the upload button, has sort of become a commodity, right? You can find that a lot of places. And so I think one of the reasons that YouTube continues to succeed and why our content contribution continues to grow from the community is we're now focused on making it easier and easier to get content, create content right from devices. So what you see here is a screenshot from the video game Spore, Electronic Arts is putting out. You guys may be familiar with this. Will Wright, the guy who did The Sims, one of the best-selling games of all time, has now taken it up another level, and you can essentially create a creature and inhabit a whole world. So building buzz for the game, they brought out the creature creator, right? So this was sort of like a creature modeler you can play, and they're actually running a really cool contest on YouTube where you sort of make your creature dance, and you can win. So what they did was use our upload API directly in the application itself. So with one click, you start doing screen capture and can upload to YouTube using your username and password without ever even leaving Spore or without ever having to come to YouTube. So before is where you thought that the output of a video file would be something that came from a camera. Now more and more you can think, wow, anything people are doing that I can capture and turn into a file and upload is something that people want to share. And of course, this turned into a lot of creative things. You may have heard about Sporn, which is, let's just call them genetically enhanced creatures. I won't go into it. If you haven't heard it before and you're interested, just search for it on YouTube and you'll see. But if you have kids in the room, hide their eyes. The second trend, anthropomorphic dogs. No, it's actually more about how to make use of YouTube's community to build your application, to build your community. So what we're seeing, of course, is lots of people who want to put content into YouTube directly from their application. This is a dog book, a dog community, and has a Facebook application. And you can upload there directly from Facebook. But what we're seeing more and more are people making use of the presence on YouTube to help drive awareness and traffic back to their application. And that's great. We love that bidirectional aspect of it. What are some ways you can do that? Well, obviously, you can sort of insert metadata and tag the source. You can put in a URL into the metadata file, created on www.url.com. And it allows the YouTube community, as they find your videos, to go and then experience your service in the context of the way you're building it. So I think that's going to be some place where folks who love to do sort of like A/B testing and other things, we don't know all the answers yet. You're probably going to find out what's the best way to make the YouTube community aware of services outside of the youtube.com world, but we definitely want to support that. And the third are really, really innovative and interesting displays of the YouTube content. So one thing we know is that there's no way that youtube.com can help users find all the content they're looking for in all the ways they want to find it, right? So, for instance, I always joke that I'd love to see a view of content that sort of shows me what was on, sort of the time machine. What was on TV when I was, 8 years old, or what were things that were filmed on this date. And we try to make all these things come to life, but with a corpus that's just so large, a lot of these needs are going to be met not on youtube.com, but outside. And so this is a cool application called TimeTube from a startup, Dippity, which, using the API, plots for particular concepts videos along a timeline, as well as relative priority and relevance ranking. And so this is the history of chocolate rain. And all started with a dream and then became a phenomenon. So in wrapping up, basically, I think the storyline here is that YouTube is built on openness. We succeeded because we took a first step when not a lot of people were thinking about pushing content out across the web with our embedded player. And since that time, have tried to move quickly to push more and more of that into the APIs. I think one of the most interesting features that we've done this year is the Chromeless Api that Jeff will do a little bit more of a talk on later today, which basically says, hey, here's just a video stream. Build whatever application, whatever player you want around this. But at the end of the day, the magic isn't going to come, I think, just from the tool set we enable. It's going to come from what you guys do on top of it. So if anything, I hope today is sort of a call to action to inspire you, not only from what you hear from us, but from talking with one another.